Alright guys, so what we have here are Hardrace 6621. They're a Honda S2000 offset ball joint / roll center adjuster. The roll center adjusting function is optional on these, so you can keep them the same height as stock or use the roll center adjusters. This here's what's in the box. You get a Hardrace decal. These two plates are the roll center adjusting plates that you stack on top of the ball joint. I won't be using these because these aren't legal for STR, and my car is only lowered about a ½ an inch, so I will not be needing those at all. These are the offset ball joints themselves. Bag of new hardware. And underneath here is the other one. So this is what they look like, anodized blue aluminum. They're basically an offset bolt pattern from the center line. So when these mount to the bottom of the control arm, it kicks the bottom of the knuckle out and tilts the wheel further for more camber. So I'm going to try to get around -3.2 degrees out of the front for a good STR setup this year, so I'll be putting these in today. So what I have next here is a ball joint separator tool. This is like 20 bucks from Harbor Freight. So this is the bottom of your control arm. First thing you're going to want to do is remove the cotter pin and take off the OEM castle nut right here, so you expose the threads. Alright, so with the OEM ball joints popped out, as you can see, just pop them out. If you want to learn how to pop them out, you can go see the video in the description. I put a link in the description of an earlier video I took that shows how to pop them out of the ball joints with that tool. So once you get them out, it's as simple as 2 bolts. There's 2 bolts. I believe they're 17mm heads, one on each side. You're just going to back those out, take those off, and then the whole lower ball joint should come right off the knuckle. I've really only been working on the car for about 15 minutes now, and I already got the OEM one out. As you can see, the difference between the two. Through the center line through the OEM ball joint is straight through the center of the ball joint for the mounting holes, and you can see how offset this one is. The bottom of the ball joint's always going to mount in the same spot in the lower control arm, and when you look at the top straight down, the holes are further away from the car when you mount it like this, so that means it'll bump the knuckle outwards to give you more negative camber. So that's very, very critical. Make sure you don't put these in the wrong way, guys, or you're going to have yourself a bunch of alignment problems and wonder why you can't get much negative camber. So the Hardrace kit gives you 4 brand new bolts to mount these to the knuckle. I just learned that the bolts that come with the Hardrace kit are really only for if you're going to use the spacer for the roll center adjuster. If you're going to not use the roll center adjuster spacer and just do the offset ball joint like I'm doing, so it's probably better to stay with the OEM bolts. These are a little rusty on the top, so I'm going to order 4 new ones of these and replace them one at a time underneath the car when they come in. However, for now I'm going to use these old rusty ones, mainly because the difference is you can see how much taller the ones from the Hardrace kit are, and this unthreaded section, if you were to just put it over the ball joint, is almost coming out the top. These would probably work. However, you're going to have all that much more thread sticking out of the top of the knuckle, and these pretty much are made for this, because if you put the spacer on the length of here, it equals the length of the new bolt. So these are really only meant to be used with the roll center adjusters for proper thread engagement into the knuckle. If you're not using the roll center adjuster, definitely stay with the OEM bolts. Alright, so with the Hardrace offset lower ball joint in the car, the ball joint's always going to mount in the same location on the lower control arm, so you want to make sure your offset holes are pointing outward to bump the knuckle away from the car in this direction. So this is the correct orientation to put them in. I've seen some videos online where people do them backwards, and that'll just screw you all up and give you tons of positive camber, which is what you don't want. So, alright, so these nuts up here I just wrenched down pretty tight, and I'm going to torque the castle nut to like 36 foot-pounds, and then you got to see if you're lined up at all with your cotter pin. If you're not, just take a ratchet to it and tighten it more until you get your first available slot lined up, and then put your cotter pin in. And the cotter pin orientation should look like the picture you see right now. You want to fold one of the tabs upward and then the other one down, around, and back underneath the ball joint.